Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Today, we're excited to introduce to you Kenneth Burke, also known as CarKenny. Kenneth is a passionate automotive enthusiast who has been tinkering with cars since he was a teenager. With over 2 decades of experience in the automotive industry, Kenneth has built a reputation as an expert in car maintenance, repair, and modification. He is also an avid car collector with an impressive collection of vintage and exotic cars. But before we get deep into this interview, take a look at this intro from CarKenny.com.
Create an account on CarKenny, go to its login page and click Create an Account. Now insert your personal details, email address, mobile number, create a password, and add other details. Once done, check the terms and conditions box and hit the sign up button. Then click Continue. Now you need to select your car brand out of the following and log into your car brand account using your vehicle's mobile app credentials. If you do not have a login, please create one using the Don't Have an Account option listed below. Once logged in, it will show you your vehicle location on the map. You can monitor your vehicle from here. By clicking Vehicle Health, you can monitor your vehicle health statuses such as battery life, tires, fuel tank, engine oil life, and many others. You can also set reminders for your vehicle inspection dates. Furthermore, you can start or stop your electric vehicle charging and lock or unlock your vehicle easily from here. To add new vehicles to your CarKenny account, click Add New Vehicle, then click on the Car Edition icon and hit Continue. Now repeat the same process of selecting your car brand as we did before.
But what sets Kenneth apart is his ability to make even the most complex automotive concepts easy to understand. Through his popular YouTube channel and blog, he has helped countless car enthusiasts improve their knowledge and skills. Whether you're a seasoned mechanic or just getting started in the world of cars, Kenneth has something to offer you. So buckle up and get ready to learn from one of the best in the business, Kenneth Burke. And I was so excited talking to Kenny, I forgot totally to hit the record button. So here he is into the middle of my first interview question with him, asking him what inspired him to start CarKenny and focus on reducing theft and accidents in the automotive industry. So we're going to go directly into it.
And what we do essentially is connect to vehicles through the internet. Typically, if you wanted to connect to a vehicle, you would have to buy a dongle or aftermarket piece of equipment that plugs into the OBD2 port monitor on the vehicle, or it connects to the battery, or connects to one of the fuse boxes. And that's typically how people got, GPS location for their vehicles, trackers, kill switches, things of that nature that can be a detriment to vehicle theft. So with that in mind, that's the kind of where the market is. What we did was we built a platform that connects these vehicles without the need of any hardware devices, because it's easy to unplug a hardware device. If a thief knows there's a hardware hot wired device on a vehicle, it's easy to unplug it, disconnect the satellite, etc. However, what we did was we connected directly to the vehicle using existing embedded technology that the OEMs or the manufacturers have built into these vehicles. And doing that is a lot harder to disconnect these platforms, even know that the platform exists, for a thief to know they're being monitored. So that's on one side. For traditional ICE vehicles or vehicles that we're known to, they have built-in GPSs and modems from the manufacturers, and that we connect to those. On the flip side, to your question of future of electric vehicles, these new electric vehicles don't have the same mechanism as typically gas-powered vehicles. Gas-powered vehicles had that dongle that you can plug in a cord to, or plug in a piece of equipment to, and you can either check for codes. There's like a check engine light on, but also plug in a GPS tracker. On the flip side, electric vehicles are just moving computers. They're big, large computers. There's really no place to plug in, because there's no need to plug in any diagnostics or any features needed that would typically be done from ICE vehicles. It's built directly into the computer and the modem on these electric vehicles. So it actually makes it a lot easier to track these vehicles, find speed mechanisms, kill switches, etc., because they're being built straight from the manufacturer, opposed to having to buy aftermarket equipment on Amazon and such, plug into your vehicle. So that's some of the landscape today of the vehicle security, and that's kind of where I see it going down the line.
Okay. But one of the questions I want to go deep dive into your company itself, which is CarKenny. The website is there up on the screen. What inspired you to start CarKenny and to focus on reducing the vehicle theft and accidents?
Yeah, great question there. I would say the reason we started, it's a little different than why we exist today, or at least the use cases we exist today for. It actually started from a personal experience. I was pulled over by the police, accused of speeding in some very small town that had like one light and one speed trap. But in a nutshell, I was accused of speeding, going about 25 miles over the speed limit, and the officer threatened that he'll take my vehicle and basically put me in jail.
Oh,
And at that time, I panicked and I thought I knew I was maybe speeding because it was a speed trap, but I wasn't going 25, 30 miles over the speed limit. And there is no way for the officer. He wasn't like, using his radar gun or anything like that. He was just assuming. And to
yeah.
me, it was like, hey, I need a device that allows me to actually prove my speed at any given time, prove my location. So in a case like this, if I am pulled over or my vehicle is stolen or I am a parent and I'm worried about my kid, I have some mechanisms to, go back into the cloud and actually retrieve that data to prove that. So that's how it started. It started back in 2017 with me wanting to build a physical device to accomplish that feat. And we've, pivoted and advanced to the point now where we accomplish that same feat without the need of hardware. And right now we're really more dialed into people with multiple vehicles, fleet managers, small
Yeah.
rental car companies, small B2B businesses that can take advantage of our platform today. And then eventually we aim to kind of come full circle with a platform for consumers, kind of like the situation I had where, my individual case, how can my data be used, help me in court or an insurance case or an accident, etc. So right now we exist more on a B2B side, but as we scale, we do hope to, bring consumers into the realm as well.
Definitely. But one of the things also I want to know is what sets CarKenny apart from other mobility solution providers in the market? Because I know the competition is really there.
It is. For the most part, is we're brand agnostic. We're not specifically looking at one brand. And that's really the offers on the market. So like Tesla, one of the leaders in this space, they're primarily only for Tesla vehicles. So you have a Tesla vehicle, you're covered. But if you have a Tesla at home, but also a Ford, also a Nissan, you need 4 or 5 different apps. And the
Right.
the data is not streamlined across. Just because Tesla has this feature doesn't mean Nissan has it. So we have a streamlined application that connects to 33 different brands and about
Mm,
153 million vehicles globally. And with that is
right.
one platform offering the same access. So GPS tracking, remote access, speed tracking, vehicle health data, etc., and then and eventually camera data that's consistent across the board. So that's how we stand out versus the individual manufacturers or vehicle manufacturers and their offerings. In terms of the third-party companies out there, because there's a bunch, most Geotab, Verizon Connect,
Yeah.
etc. For the most part, their primary focus is actually, as I mentioned, those hardwired devices, those physical devices that you plug into a truck, you plug into a vehicle, because most of their use cases is older vehicles. However, as newer vehicles come onto the market that have these things built into it, they're also shifting from a hardware first approach to a software or connected vehicle approach. So I do see them competing with us, but where we stand out now is we're going directly software first. We're focusing on many different brands under one platform. And our use case or our customer focus is we're focused on customers that these big dogs aren't focusing on right now. Like we're going after
Mm,
the person on Turo that has 5 vehicles and you're looking to monitor these, opposed to these bigger companies are going after Amazon, FedEx, DLH, and
yes.
actually winning that business. So we hope to compete there as well. But we're starting with the use case that makes the most sense for us and then scale. So that's what really differentiates us from the competition.
Yeah, definitely. Because when an individual goes to a dealership or a small dealer and they purchase a vehicle, then they're also being upsell. They're getting upselling strategies or sales strategies for from the various sales reps saying, okay, we have this type of security mechanism. The other ones also in the night up to the early 2000s, it was all about selling a car and then selling the security systems different. And then the theft of vehicles encourage manufacturers to include immobilizer systems in the vehicles, keyless entries, and all those other types. But some manufacturers, believe it or not, they also have these security systems built into the vehicle, so you can actually track it itself.
However, the price range makes it a little bit more challenging for some of the individual customers to afford some of these security systems that are being offered to them. So how will you notify or try to persuade that individual customer who already have the challenge of making their car payments, paying a deposit up front, and how affordable is it for CarKenny to get into that market itself?
Another great question there as well. I would say it's a multi-pronged approach. I would say first, if your vehicle from the manufacturer, from the yard has built-in technology, yes, they're probably baking that price into your sales price or the sales price of that vehicle. So in that case, if you can negotiate that initially in the sales price of your vehicle, kind of that telemetry data or that built-in modem data on your vehicle, I would recommend that at the dealership, because that's probably your best bet to get the best price for it. On another note, at least where we are today and where the future is going, companies like Tesla, Ford, and a few others actually offer us, us as in CarKenny, they offer us free access to their vehicles because they see the benefit of allowing us to get access to their vehicles so that we can help their vehicles and their customers become safer as they drive these vehicles. However, there are some companies like General Motors, which owns Cadillac, Chevy, Buick, kind of the big dog in town. They charge us, or they charge customers about $30 a month to use the built-in modem on the vehicle. And for us to use the built-in modem, the customer has to pay General Motors $30 and then pay my price. So there is some friction there, whereas though in terms of cost, and we are working to make that a little more streamlined. We are looking at other providers who can help us get direct connection to these vehicles at maybe half the cost. But at least today, that is somewhat the outlook of the industry is. Some manufacturers, they offer this, free of charge. Like I said, Tesla, Ford, Revving, and a few others. Those who see the future of connectivity as they want to see it as a revenue stream right now, but eventually they know that that's not going to be a revenue stream itself. There's going to be other revenue streams that come out of this, but just selling, access to the data itself, it's kind of a basic feature. And eventually, consumers are going to be fed up that, they can get it free from Tesla or free from Ford, but not free from Chevy or Cadillac. So I do see that playing field evening, which makes it a lot easier in terms of a pricing conversation because a consumer just needs to pay my price, which is $19.99 per month per vehicle, opposed to my price of $19.99 per month per vehicle. Plus, you have to pay Chevy's price or Toyota's price or BMW's price. So I think that right there is going to be eventually is going to be the straw that needs to break so that this industry really can take off. And the last point there is you may have been following the trades, but I saw it. I think it was BMW. They released that they're going to start charging customer subscription for heated seats.
Subscription, yes.
And
subscription service,
People went up in bonkers. It's like this is a necessity. You can't be charging us, subscription for this. And I think that's going to be the outlook of the industry. It's like GPS location. I need this to track my vehicle for safety. You're going to charge me for it. So once we kind of get to that point, I think it'll be a lot easier. The conversation will be a lot smoother. And then we'll be able to come in and offer these these services on top of that for consumers.
So how does CarKenny uses the data and the technology to improve vehicle safety and the accessibility? Because that vehicle safety is a paramount concern right now because people are buying Teslas. You're seeing it all over social media. If something happens, the car just sits there dead, can't be moved, and they have to send for a tow truck in order to get it out of the way. So that is one aspect of some of the things that are going on with the EVs currently. But having a system such as yours, what other benefit is there to ease the mind of those particular potential customers to say, okay, I have CarKenny and I can depend on this system to actually get me around safe and sound?
Yeah, for sure. I can say one is just being able to track your vehicle down to the GPS, coordinates on the map. I think that ability there gives you great peace of mind because one of the biggest things with our fear of vehicle theft is one, my vehicle is stolen, and two, I can't find it, so I have to deal with insurance or possibly lose out on some valuable information that I know is in the vehicle that I stashed, or whatever the case may be. I have some viable rims on there. I have some valuable insights in there that just being able to locate the vehicle gives me some peace of mind. Being able to say the vehicle was stolen, but hey, let me call the police and let them know that it's parked on this side of town at a chop shop about to be shipped overseas, whatever the case may be. So just kind of having that peace of mind, one, but also being able to have remote access to the vehicle. I mean, it makes no sense if you can find a vehicle, but you get there, you can't unlock it or get inside. So being able to have that remote access is another great feature. Not just if your vehicle is stolen. There's plenty of times where I leave my keys upstairs in the house and I'm down at my car and I need to get inside, and I have my app to unlock the door or, you know, start the vehicle. So that's great, but also vehicle health data. I know one of your insights or one of your points about the Teslas getting stuck is usually dead battery or so. That's usually the case, or Bluetooth issues. I have a Tesla at home, and that's usually the case why the vehicle would get stuck. But having those insights, ahead of time, that hey, the vehicle battery is degrading. The amp watcher, it's not up to par. I mean, not only you as a consumer, but maybe you have a parent who's monitoring your vehicle and they have access to that to monitor and get those alerts. So those are some of the features that in a nutshell that allow us to get some peace of mind. And then I would say finally, and most importantly, the Tesla has the camera system, and that camera system is best in class. And I think it allows a lot of, or it provides a lot of peace of mind to consumers, because thieves know that Tesla has cameras. Now, I guarantee they think twice before stealing a Tesla versus stealing a Camry or a BMW, because it's like, one, I need a mask on. They know the vehicle is tracking me. It's a computer, it can shut off at any time. So I think Tesla's really reimagined the space around vehicle security, and I think others will follow suit with some of their practices.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of CarKenny itself and getting this platform up and running for those to benefit from the various options that you have to offer, are there any particular successful project or partnership you've had with a company through CarKenny?
Well, we're still in the early stages. We're still really focusing on that smaller customer. The success we've had is really with Turo fleet managers or Turo owners. And what a Turo owner is kind of like the Airbnb for vehicles in a nutshell. Like, you can rent out your vehicle to somebody else. And the use case is them having the important metrics needed to, monitor their vehicle as it's out being monetized to ensure, it is being safe. It is driven, under 100 miles per hour. The tire pressures are up to par. The vehicle is, in the States and not in Canada, or is in Canada, not United States, because those are some protocols sometimes on some vehicles. Like, I don't want you to drive outside the country.
Yes.
But most important, a bit feature that we are seeing right now is the remote access feature, because on these Turo vehicles, it's like you renting out your vehicle. Your vehicle is parked at the airport, Ontario Airport. You're home, and the guest is at your vehicle needing to get in. And how do you let them in? Remote access. You unlock the vehicle from your home. So like those features there, those are some of the benefits we're having early on right now. However, we know that our platform is very useful for HVAC companies, landscape companies, small micro fleets, mom and pop fleets. So we are looking to fundraise at this current moment so that we can expand to those longer sales cycles clients versus just Turo folks we are now. Really expand to the longer sales cycles clients of like corporate fleets and B2B customers. But those are some success stories today.
Well, I mean, the resume is getting extensive as long as you're out there putting out the best services possible. But how does CarKenny support its clients in their digital transformations?
I would say first is showing them the benefit of data, showing the benefit of the technology, versus with the status quo, versus plug-in device, no peace of mind, business as usual, to a new age of, again, I think Tesla is really changing the game, not only with just EVs, but I think their security system really just changed the narrative around vehicle safety. So our platform,
a lot of people don't understand that Tesla is actually a software company. just into the car. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And that's really the conversation.
You can continue. Yeah.
No, you're good to go. You're good to go. That's really the impression we want to have in this market. Actually, I said back in 2017 that I was looking to build the Ring doorbell, like the Ring camera device, Ring doorbell for your vehicle. because
Yeah.
Ring doorbell gives you so much peace of mind when you're not home, or even if you're home, somebody's your doorbell, you don't have to go down there, you can talk to them. Somebody's out there, give you some alerts. We want that same peace of mind and same security for vehicles, because typically your home is your first biggest purchase, your vehicle is your
Yeah.
second. So
Second.
why
Yeah.
is one having a lot more security and peace of mind than the other? So that's really the conversation we want to have, and we're slowly but surely, providing that platform to do so. Starting with kind of the basic features: GPS location, speed, vehicle health, remote access. But we are in partnership right now and talks with a world-winning artificially intelligent camera provider, so that we can start offering the aftermarket camera for, like, I know it's very popular right now for like Uber drivers or share vehicle hosts, things like that. But offer that vehicle, the AI powered vehicle telematics data, until most vehicles come equipped with cameras like Tesla's, and Tesla start to share that data with us. But until then, we want to have a one-stop shop to kind of have that peace of mind like you do with a Ring doorbell or ADT system for your home.
Definitely. So does that include any of the new projects or the initiatives that CarKenny is currently working on?
Yeah, so the one we're currently working on, that is a new initiative around, integrating the vehicle or the video and audio telematics system into our platform. Another one that you don't see here, we're working on behind the scenes, but we are looking at mobility as a service. And mobility as a service is pretty much an interoperability app, and it's very popular in Toronto. Pretty much, one platform to get around. So if you were new to Toronto, you need to get around, you'll have one app to book scooters, book bikes, book the mass transit, book rental cars, you name it. So that's really where kind of the next leg for us in mobility is really branching out, not only security and telematics, but how do we really partner with cities, governments, colleges, etc., to really, give the mobility platform for folks to get around. And by the way, if part of the method for that folk to get around is a vehicle, we got a security system for them. I think that's the conversation we'll have, big picture.
Definitely. But I know there's a lot on your plate trying to get this company up and running and getting the word out there, and it entails a lot of marketing to ensure the trust for your product amongst the consumers as well as the competitors. Because once the competitors know that you have something very viable, then they're going to want to pull out all the stops to ensure that they stay ahead of you or ahead of the game. So in essence, can you discuss any of the challenges you faced as your role of CEO, and how you are able to overcome some of those challenges?
Yeah, I would say the biggest challenge is prioritizing, or one of the biggest challenges is prioritizing. Because as you mentioned, having a lot on my plate, a lot of different, ways to pivot and go. What do you focus on? When you have so many, things in your to-do list, what's top of mind? So I would say definitely prioritizing. But I would say also just resources, because right now I am bootstrapping this platform. I've used my own finances and funds and brain power to build this. And I do know to get it to the next step, we do need to hire in-house development team, actually market the product correctly, opposed to kind of the guerrilla market I'm doing today. So it's just going to come with resources. I think that's probably the biggest opportunity right now for us is getting more resources for us to get to the next step of our journey. And we are currently fundraising. We are currently, pitching to angel investors, smaller VCs, things of that nature. So we can, get to the next leg for us. But those are some of the challenges. And I would say the good thing is they're not stopping us from building. It's making it a little hard, a little longer, but it's not stopping us at all.
Yeah, definitely. But it's very easy said and done. A lot of people just see these apps, these products, and everything else coming about, and they don't understand the work it entails to get these actually to market, and for you and for the average consumer to benefit from it. So, I mean, kudos to you and the team for getting this out there. And as you say, the second largest investment that you'll ever make in your life, you have to ensure that that investment is safe and sound and you feel secure going to bed at night, waking up in the morning, and you look outside and it's still there.
Absolutely.
A lot of people have not been experiencing that so much often, especially here in Toronto, where car theft is estimated at 32 vehicles per day, especially in the
Wow.
GTA. Yeah, and it has been growing. The police are up to their ears, well, up to their necks in the amount of reports coming in. And sooner or later, we want to ensure that we don't end up getting carjacked. So let's hope we don't get there. But another question I wanted to ask just to move it forward, because I know you're pressed for time running a company and everything, but can you speak to your experience in the automotive industry and how it informs the work you do at CarKenny?
Yeah, great question there as well. I would say I have a decade of experience in the automotive field. I actually started as an intern working at an automotive shop for Bridgestone Firestone back in 2013 time frame. He started as an intern, and I have a math background, so I'll kind of put that out there. And I was selling tires for my internship, but one, it got me into the automotive field because I never would have been into the automotive field. In college, I had no incline to want to be in automotive. I didn't own a vehicle.
Don't worry. We all started out like that. I started out straight out of high school into automotive, into the part shop, and just distributing parts to the mechanic, running around the garage and everything. So, believe it or not, I tell a lot of people the automotive industry have so many facets and derivatives. You can start basically anywhere. So, I mean, keep going.
No,
it's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing new. And,
I'm speaking to the choir here. But as they say, once you get in automotive field, it's kind of hard to get out.
Very hard to get out. I've gotten out so many times, and I actually got back in. I've gotten out, got back in, gotten out, got back in over my 20-year span. So, I mean, I understand. Yeah, well, but let everyone know, because when we talk about these things, they're saying, you're just talking, but you have to have the passion for it in order to be with it, and then see where you're actually going from there, and then look at what you're doing now. You actually built a solution for everyone to benefit from. So let them hear more.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So, started as an intern, selling tires. I was working at, an automotive shop where I would, help clients, ring them up, sell them services, and, work with the mechanics in the back. Did that for 3 months, turned into a full-time job. And the catch was, because I didn't want to sell tires the rest of my life, but the catch was, it's a leadership development program. It's like a college program, whereas though the analogy was, when Pepsi goes out and hire MBAs from Harvard and Stanford to eventually run their company, they make those people ride the Pepsi truck for 2 years to understand boots on the ground, what Pepsi is like, so that when it's time to go up in corporate and make decisions, they're not making it from an ivory tower view of not knowing how this affects people that's on the ground. So it was that same approach of reason why I got into the automotive field. I did that for 2 years, working boots on the ground at the store level, learning how to work with clients, what clients' needs are, how changes can affect a store manager, service manager, parts manager, etc. So did that for 2.5 years, and then eventually I moved up the corporate ladder. Got into a sales role. My sales role was covering Costco, Walmart, and BJ's on the West Coast of the United States. Traveling to Costco's, Walmart's, doing trainings, things like that. Getting my feet comfortable with sales and the automotive field. And then most recently, before I left the company, I was pretty much a business development lead for California, Nevada, Arizona, Hawaii, for independent tire shops, distributors, and retailers. So imagine working with some of the largest retailers there, from across the board stuff. How do they buy tires? How do they sell these tires? How do they hire employees? How do they market products? How do they sell it to governments and B2Bs and things of that nature? That's really how I got in the automotive field. It was always sales based, but I've always had a math background, always loved problem solving, and technology has always been, top of mind for me. So although I was working in the automotive field in the sales role, I was always looking at how can I apply my learnings to this field? How can I stand out? Because a typical guy working in automotive, it doesn't have a math background. He's not a problem solver like myself. So how can I use that approach and stand out? And that's really what I did. And, there's been plenty of times where I've recommended, technologies and solutions to the corporate team. But this one here, I kept for myself. I kept it on the back burner since 2017. I always knew that eventually I'm going to leave this job and start this company. I had big pictures. this is before Tesla actually had cameras in their vehicle. I was saying that I'm going to build a device, a ring doorbell for your car, and I'm going to pitch it to Elon Musk. Elon Musk found the idea himself, so I didn't pitch it to him. But that was kind of my outlook on the automotive field back in 2017. And I stayed committed to it, although I had to put it to the back burner at times. I went back to school for my MBA at Pepperdine. And from there, my eyes opened. Like I was like, okay, enough of this stuff. I have a product. If this product that I'm building, Elon Musk sees the benefit of it, Jeff Bezos sees the benefit of it, my $1 billion company sees the benefit of it, I'm stupid for not giving it 100%. And that's really, why I gave 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Because I've had a podcast in the past where I've been trying to encourage a lot of people that, look, the automotive industry has so many derivatives to it and so many subsets. You can look at, say, for instance, even fixing the car itself, right? You can specialize in so many different options. You can be a mechanic and just do oil and filter change. You can be someone who does upholstering. You can be someone who does transmission. You can be someone who does interior cleaning. You can be someone who does electrical wiring. You can be, there's so many different aspects. Yeah. You have tire shops out there that only does wheel alignment, balancing, and switching around tires. So there are so many different things you can do on the vehicle itself. You have companies now that only specialize on windshields. They just remove and replace windshield glass. Then you have the body shops. And you have so many different other areas you can benefit from. But in today's society, everyone wants to be, the tech guru behind the computer. And you're not really putting a product out there that to show everyone how they can actually benefit from these products. So that is one aspect of it.
No, for sure.
And your company has proven that to improve the security aspect of the particular industry itself. So in going into my other question, how does CarKenny approach the challenge of promoting environmentally friendly mobility options? Because we're all about the green environment age in today's society now.
No, for sure. I would say good thing is the industry is moving away from ICE vehicles to EVs. And I mean, we can sit here and argue, is that net beneficial for the environment? The studies say that, EVs don't, emit as many, greenhouse gases as ICE vehicles. But also studies say that, the EVs are still relying on diesel fuel to run, So there's studies out there. I mean, that's a conversation for a different day. But I think EVs are starting that journey for us, like, thanks to Elon Musk, because he's really pioneered the EV journey in America or in the world. So I would say that right there is the start of it. But even further, going to the mobility as a service portion of our business that I mentioned that we're building behind the scenes, the primary goal of that platform is to move us away from a personal car society to a shared ecosystem society. So imagine a big city like Toronto, opposed to you own a vehicle and having it parked 80% of the time and paying for parking and paying for insurance and paying for maintenance and all the different things.
Exactly.
You tap into a platform that allows you to use the most efficient mode of transportation to get around. And albeit typically it's going to be the most mobility friendly or the most environmentally friendly option, because there's going to only be environmentally friendly options on the platform. But if you want to get from Mississauga to Toronto, it'll give you the options, albeit Uber, Lyft, mass transit, train, scooter, bike. And I think from that, given uses the insight of all the mobility options out there, allows them to see what's the best option for them. But then when you break it down based on costs, based on CO2 emissions, based on what other preferences you have, that's really going to start the conversation, especially greater these bigger cities, and even forecasting down to the World Cup coming here to Mexico, United States, and Canada here soon. How are we going to get those hundreds of millions of people around these big cities? It's going to be a platform like ours, because everybody is not going to rent a vehicle. Everybody can't use Uber and Lyft. Somebody has to tap into mass transit. Somebody has to tap into scooters. Somebody has to have bikes. So our platform is really going to be that platform that allows that to happen. And then the last point on that, and we're working directly with city and governments to make this happen. We know that there's going to be areas that has a lot more love than others. Downtown Ontario or downtown Toronto, I'm sure it's going to be 1,000 bikes, 1,000 scooters, 1,000 rental cars. But what about that lower income area uptown that's not getting the same love? And that's really where our platform, works directly with the transportation service providers and the government to say, hey, great job putting these scooters and bikes downtown, but how about uptown where there's minorities that can't get around, can't get to the supermarket? I was actually talking to a friend. We're working right now in the city of LA to hopefully secure a deal with the city of LA school district and metro, and using our platform to help high school students get to school, because a lot of these kids use mass transit to get to school. And how can we, help them with peace of mind, safety, convenience? But also, there's probably a large crowd out there who don't qualify for free transportation, so they're walking to school. And how can we maybe use bikes and scooters and other modes like that to help them get to school safely? So that's really where our platform really is going to scale at the next level, and how we can really get more friendly, mobility friendly, and environmentally friendly transportation options in the hands of the right consumers.
Yeah, definitely. Because one of the episodes I produced some time ago and published on my YouTube channel, discussing as particularly how the electric vehicle agenda is going to impact those who live outside of the urban areas. For example, Toronto, because a lot of people, they commute an hour and a half to and from the city, and at the same time now the battery range itself is not as sufficient, and then there's not enough EV chargers to get to where they want to go. And I mean, only Tesla is basically here with the amount of chargers that are available. But at the same time, now you go there and people have to be sitting half an hour, 45 minutes to get a charge. So it's really an inconvenience. So the more solutions we have available, such as yours, the more it can be beneficial for those who don't reside within the urban area or within the city hall where all the politicians are gathered on a day-to-day basis. You have to think about those, how it impact the farmers and the truckers and all those who are coming into the city, or to make the necessary deliveries so that everyone can actually benefit from the various initiatives that are being brought forward by today's technological advancement. Not everyone is going to be using it, and not everyone will benefit from it, but we also have to take into consideration how we can offer the necessary initiatives for them to utilize these various systems that we're putting in.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
But well, one of my last questions I want to ask, because I know you're pressed for time. You have to go. You're over there on the west side. So what do you see the future of the mobility software as a service sector, and how does CarKenny fit into that vision?
Yeah, so the future is kind of as I explained it. One platform to get around, in partnership with the city of Toronto, the city of Los Angeles, the city of New York City. So one platform to get around with personal ownership, going to the back burner, more for a shared ecosystem. So we can look at a few examples. I'll give you a few examples to kind of show what that looks like. For an apartment complex of the future. So I live in an apartment complex now. I own a vehicle. It's parked probably 75% of the time. I probably, drive to the gas station a few times a week, drive to the grocery store, but for the most part, it's parked. And I'm paying $1,000 a month for insurance and car note. Plus, it's a Tesla, so I got to charge it. It's not expensive to charge it, but if I need to charge like $12 to $20 a day to charge, and that adds up. And imagine that the folks with a gas-powered vehicle, how much they're paying. Plus, for maintenance, tires aren't cheap. You need some tires; they're probably $250 a pop right now.
Well, believe it or not, the charging rates are increasing little by little. So at one point, in certain states, for example, New England, it's more expensive to charge a car than to refuel it. So
absolutely.
That's a report that just came out.
No, absolutely. And in that case, it's great, but it's still not, the best in class just owning an electric vehicle. So for us, again, apartment complex, opposed to you owning a vehicle as a citizen, there's no need to own a vehicle. You tap into a mobility as a service platform that's probably provided by your apartment complex, or it's going to be CarKenny in combination with your apartment complex, for you to use any mode of transportation needed to get around. So we'll partner with the apartment complex to ensure that they have a fleet of bikes, a fleet of scooters, a fleet of shared vehicles, easy access to Uber, Lyft, and mass transit, so that as a citizen, if you want to go to the store, hey, there's a pool of shared Teslas or Porsches on the first floor that you can use. You can use the app to check it out. For 30 minutes, an hour, you can book it however long you want. Oh, you just want to ride to the park? There's a bike parked downstairs. Oh, there's a scooter parked downstairs. Or you want to go out with your friends and have a nice drink? There's an Uber outside. Or you want to ride to the game? Take this bus or take this scooter to this bus to this train or whatever the case may be. And the future is going to be that's all going to be on the platform. Either albeit an extra $500 in rent for you for a mobility package, or you just you subscribe to our platform for at a few $100 a month. So that's gonna be the future for mobility as a service, and really down to like the apartment complex level, the college level. Because same with colleges, there's no need for you as a college student to own a vehicle and have it parked most of the time. You can tap into a mobility as a service platform, use it when you need it. So that'll be the future of colleges, universities, as well as cities. In my estimation, if I'm living in Los Angeles, if I'm traveling to New York City, I'm going to tap into this platform and I'm going to use MTA. I'm going to use City Bike. I'm going to use Uber. And I may even, rent a vehicle. Maybe I want to drive up to Niagara Falls for the weekend. And, I don't want to take Amtrak. I want to drive and make a few pit stops. I'll have a rental car access as well. But that's going to be the future, is having one platform to use as you need and not really being tied down to one thing. Because if I'm learning one thing about Gen Z and the future of how we buy or how they buy, ownership is not something they want. They want access, but not ownership. They're willing to subscribe and give it back when I'm done with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Gen Zs are different. They're a different generation. So we have to try to encourage them as much as possible as well. Like building is more essential than anything else. And we need them to, after we're long, well, for me, I'm much older. After we're long gone, we need someone to continue to build and maintain the infrastructures that are there that we're able to provide for them. So I totally understand where that's coming from. But Kenny, is there anything else you want to share with us before you run?
No, I think it was great conversation here. Like I got over a lot and went in depth on a few things. I would just ask for your audience, feel free to check us out at CarKenny.com. We're also live on the app stores, Google Play and iOS at CarKenny. You can check us out. We currently connect to 153 million vehicles from 33 different brands. So the rule of thumb is if your vehicle has Bluetooth and internet connectivity, more likely they connect to our platform. But don't quote me on that one. But yeah, I would say feel free to check us out, leave us a review, reach out if you can on all the social medias. You can find us at CarKenny Inc. CarKennyInc on most social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. But yeah, I appreciate the time, just talking to your audience. And yeah, if there's any feedback or anything that I should improve on, any features that you guys would like to see, feel free to reach out, contact us on our website or on social media. But again, I thank you for your time and for your audience.
Oh, definitely. And I'll be more than happy to have you back on my platform anytime just to share with us. As you know, the automotive space is constantly evolving, and I've seen so many changes in my 20 plus years, from points and condensers to to where we are now. Everything is strictly electric, and now we're moving into the electrification of the vehicle itself. Even though they've been around since the late 1990s, early 2000, but a lot of people were reluctant because of the amount of materials it takes to get these vehicles on the road and into the hands of consumers. No, we're gonna have to think about the environment a little bit more. But whatever we can do to ensure that people are comfortable moving around and in a safe way as much as possible, then we'll be more than happy to share those information. So Kenny, thank you very much for your time and to share all the information with us. And we look forward to having you on our platform again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Talk soon.